Hi guys, and welcome to my tenses video. I've designed 8 mini soundbite songs to help you remember all the verb endings for the tenses. There's 8 we need you to remember. There's 3 past, 2 present, 3 future tenses. Learning these inside out, back to front, all the patterns will give you very good success for your GCSEs. There are a couple of other ones which go one on the future, one on the past, which will also help. But if you get these nailed now, fantastic. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is what is a tense. Now, just to determine what a tense is, just for anybody that's not 100% sure, a tense is something that happens in either the present, the past, or the future. So for instance, if you use the verb to cook, okay, cook, it's a doing word, it's a verb. You think, right, how do I know if it's in the past, present, or future? If it's in the past tense, you would say, or you recognise it as, yesterday I cooked, I was cooking, I used to cook. When I was younger, I used to cook. I used to go swimming. You would recognise, you think, oh, that's happened in the past, so it's a past tense. There's 3 of those tenses to learn, okay? And I'll go through the charts individually as we go through as to what they look like in English, okay? The next 2 are the present tense. So if you think the ones are on the left-hand side, that's how I sort of visualise it. The 3 on the left are the past, then you've got the present in the middle, the future is to the right. Sort of visualise them as that. It might help in your mind as a picture. The 2 present tenses, you would, if you use the verb cook again, you would say, today I cook sausages, or today I am cooking sausages. It's an action you're doing right now, or right now even. I am cooking, or right now I am presenting. Right now I talk, or I am talking. Okay, I talk to my dad. I'm talking to my dad right now. I think we do tend to use the present continuous a little bit more when we're chatting. But yeah, both 2 present tenses to learn, okay? The other 3 are the 3 future tenses. Now, to recognise the 3 future tenses that we'll need, you would see things or hear things. Tomorrow, I am going to cook. Tomorrow, I will cook. Next week, I would cook if I feel like it. It's not happened yet, so they will be the 3 future tenses, pardon me. Okay, so past, present, future tenses. Okay, so next thing I want to talk to you and clear up any misconceptions, if anybody's not sure still what a verb is what is a verb in Spanish and in English. Okay, so a verb. A verb is a doing word, it's an action. So you've got to cook, see, swim, bake, play. Anything that's an action word is a verb, okay? When you're doing languages or you're learning English when you're little, you might see it in its infinitive form. That's the posh word for it, in infinitive. I sometimes call it the full whole verb, the full pie, so to speak. The infinitive is the whole piece of the pie before you break it down into its little slices. And those little slices will be the I part, the you part, the he, she and it part, the we part, the you part, the they part. So the infinitive is the whole bit at the beginning before you break it down. For example, to cook would be the infinitive of the verb cook. Okay, so to cook. Then you would break it down into I cook, you cook, he, she, or it cooks, we cook, you cook, they cook. Past tense. I cooked, you cooked, or I used to cook, you used to cook, or I was cooking, you were cooking. Okay. Future tense would be some of the future tenses. I am going to cook, I would cook, I am going to cook. All right. That is what we mean by those 6 parts. We sort of break them down. Just one second. Okay, we're carrying on. Yeah. Okay. I'll try and keep this clear with the board because sometimes the light sort of shines on it. I'll try my best with this. Right. So just to go over and confirm what I've just said. An infinitive, the English infinitive, the whole pie before you split it into those 6 parts is 2 words. Okay. English infinitive. So it's, for example, to cook, to write, to eat. So it's two plus the doing word, okay? 2 words. It will always have that 2 there. A Spanish infinitive is different, okay? It does not have 2 words. All languages follow different patterns, and I think sometimes it can confuse students when you're trying to learn a new language and you start trying to replace words for the same sort of the words that be in the same place in English. You think, well, I need a word for 2 in Spanish. It doesn't work like that. You've just got to learn some new patterns, a bit like you do with maths. You've got to just accept certain patterns and adapt things. So the Spanish infinitive is 1 word only, okay? So we'll use those 3 verbs: to cook, to write, to eat. To cook is cocinar. To write is escribir. And to eat is comer, okay? Then you may ask yourself, you think, right, well, they're just 3 words. How will I know if it's a verb or not? It might just be a random Spanish word. Okay, a verb, an infinitive in Spanish, to recognise that it's the infinitive, you won't have the word to at the beginning or something to replace that word. How you will recognise the word, if it is an infinitive, the whole verb, is it will end in 3 things. It will either end in AR, you see that? IR or ER. Okay? Basic Spanish, that is all you've got to remember. The word will end in either AR, IR or ER. And all the verb charts are split into those 3 endings, all endings to, if it's an AR verb, you'll stick these endings on. If it's an IR verb, you'll stick these endings on. And if it's an ER verb, you'll stick these endings on. As time goes on, you will learn to see patterns between them all. You will see that IR and ER tend to follow similar patterns. You will just need to remember one sort of pattern for both of those for a lot of the time. It's the ARs that are different from those 2, but there's lots of, you just follow the patterns and you'll get better with it in time. So before we go on to the songs, basically all you need to do for the past tenses and the present tenses, in some way or other, you knock the endings off. You'll just knock them off. So you've got a little stem, we call it a stem. So you'll have cocin, escrib with a little gap there, waiting for another letter to be stuck on. So have cocin, escrib, com. And as we go through the charts, I'll show you, just stick different endings on. There are slightly different patterns that you've got to remember between past and present. But the rule of thumb is past and present tenses, you'll knock something off and you'll stick something on, okay? For the future tenses, all the future tenses, you will always add something on extra, okay? So I'll just get my pen. So what you would do then is you'd have the whole verb. So you'll leave that, you won't knock anything off at all, and you will then stick a different ending on, depending if you're talking about the I, the you, the he, she or it, the we, the you, the they. You will stick whichever ending it is on, and we'll show you that. Obviously, again, there might be a slightly different pattern, but you will not be taking anything off the verb. It will be additional, okay? Right. Let's get your singing voice ready and mine. I will apologise in advance, but I have really enjoyed making these little songs. And practice your hearts out, okay? One moment, please. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put them on a separate video. So this will be the introduction one, just to talk about what the tenses and the verbs, what a verb is, infinitive, so you're clear with that. And then I'll split... you'll see some extra videos after this one, okay? So I will do this video, then I will do the past tense ones all together. Then I will do the present tense ones in a separate video all together, and then I will do the future tense ones in a separate video. So all together there should be 4 videos, this introduction one, and then 3 more, one for your past, one for your present, one for your future, so you can learn them a bit at a time, and then hopefully in the end stick them all together. Okay? Buena suerte.